Thank you so much, Rhonda. I'm so happy to be here. Absolutely. Yeah. Elevate Global Networking is a networking community and platform that I created for entrepreneurs, high minded individuals, global business leaders that are looking for a place to connect with other people around the country, around the world. Um, a lot of our members consist of real estate moguls, people in the luxury space, high net worth, ultra high net worth individuals, private equity firms, entrepreneurs, TV, media, celebrities, their managers, athletes, their managers. So I started it not too long ago. It's been around for about a month and a half, and we have doubled in size in membership just in a month. And I'm so happy to have you as a member of Elevate as well. I know that you've made some great connections from there, and I find that it's really hard for people that are looking to grow their business globally to network with others. We're all busy in this day and age, to be able to connect with others across the country or even across the world and make those connections to be able to further your business in a short amount of time via Zoom, as that's how the majority of our meetings are held. That's correct. And for those types of people that don't want to share their contacts and don't really want to give away their secret sauce, I see many of those. I kind of look at that as coming from a lack mindset. I come from an abundance mindset where I feel like, you help pull other people and help other people rise up, and that's going to pay you back tenfold. So I've always come from contribution where I have tried to provide value with nothing in return. I have connected so many people over my, career, 25-year professional career. And Elevate came to be by one of my friends actually saying to me, "You spend so much time going out of your way to connect people. You should really monetize that." And I thought about it and I was like, "No, I'm not going to, charge people to connect them." And then I thought more about it, and I came to actually Elevate came to me in the middle of the night, and I started making notes on my phone about creating a networking platform that I would want to be a part of. I've been invited to so many networking platforms, and I'm sure other people can relate, where you get in a Zoom or you go to something in person and you're like, why am I here? There's just no synergy with any of the people there. People don't take it seriously. You're really kind of just wasting your time. I wanted to create something that there's value there. There's value in every step of the way. So we have a speaker for the first 15 or 20 minutes of the Zoom. We meet every other Wednesday, and I will be adding more meetings as the membership grows. And we are going to have in person events, and we have had some in person events throughout the country. And there's also access to the events that I get invited to as well. So how it works is you join the Zoom and you get a membership of $99 a month, and that is not a contract, so you can get out at any time, and you join the Zoom. It's about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. We have a speaker for the first 15 or 20 minutes, and then we go into breakout rooms. So I break out more intimate breakout rooms where it's like 3 or 4 people. and you can take a little time to get to know each other, explain your business, what your wants and needs are. But I always try to make it inspirational. And I also ask people to talk about what are their connections that they've made over the last couple of weeks, or who have they connected with. And I know, we have made some great connections. You've connected me to some people, I've connected you to some people, and really that's what it's all about. I think of myself as a business matchmaker. I try to make really purposeful introductions throughout the entire time that the members are signed up. It's not just, right after the Zoom, or on the day of the Zoom meeting. Throughout the weeks that we're not meeting, I'm connecting people over email, over text message, and really trying to make those purposeful introductions. Mhm, 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 mhm. Right, right. Well, thank you so much for that. And that's a great analogy. There have been so many different networking groups where it is an elevator pitch and it's very forced. Work with me, work with me. And that's not really how good business is formed. Good business is formed by relationships. It's mostly a relationship business. You can put it into many different fields, and people work with who they know, like, and trust. So if they don't know you, like you, or trust you, they're not working with you. You could have a zillion awards and be the best at what you do, but if they don't feel a connection with you, they're not going to refer you and they're not going to work with you. And in order to gain that exposure and that authentic relationship, you have to put time into it. It's like anything else. You have to, just like a marriage, just like a new boyfriend, you have to take time to put time into those relationships to build your business and create long term, authentic relationships with people that you can uplift, and that also people that can bring value to your business as well. And a lot of times, like you were saying, my mind is always going when I'm listening to somebody talk, like, oh my gosh, I can introduce you to this person. Oh, you need to meet this person. And then I make that purposeful introduction, and those people take it away. So I'm always thinking, who can I introduce you to when someone's talking to me and introducing their business to me? So that's a great analogy. Absolutely. Yeah. So I have been a global real estate advisor for over 20 years. I originally started in Connecticut, where I was born and raised. I have branched out to a national market now. I'm also licensed in Florida and Vermont. I do live in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, half the time and spend half my time in Connecticut. And I have really branched out working with private equity firms, family offices, venture capitalists, investment firms with larger projects such as developments, multifamily units, um, hotels, resorts, that sort of thing. So again, there goes my matchmaking skills with what I do is I take my connections from all over the world, and they may have a development in Puerto Rico that they're looking to sell, or they may have a multifamily unit in Dallas, Texas that's got 400 units. And I have investors and people that have cash on hand ready to buy those properties. So I've built this huge network just in the real estate space where I started working on some larger projects. I still do residential and commercial. Mostly, residential is what I grew my real estate business doing. I was at a point where I was doing over 100 transactions a year, one of the top agents in my state and in my hometown, and really have just enjoyed the personal connection, helping people achieve their dreams. And I've really enjoyed learning the new spaces of real estate that I've gotten into when it comes to resort developments um, and even just the other people that I've come across, like yourself with the credit authority. I mean, there's just so many ways that we can work together and on an international and global level. That these are the type of relationships that I really love forming. Mhm. Yeah, so I actually was introduced to a billionaire in Palm Beach, Florida, and it took me a little while to actually get in front of him. This was an introduction from a friend that thought maybe I should meet him because he doesn't have anybody with his family office that he recommends to his clientele that has a real estate transaction that they need to do. And I started thinking about this and I was talking with him and I said to him, what do you do if you have a client that maybe sold their $10 million house in Palm Beach and they want to buy a vacation home in Vail, Colorado? What do you do with them? And he's like, I don't really know. I just hand them to my friend Paul, who's a realtor. And I said, well, what do you do if they want to buy something, outside of the area? He's like, well, how are you going to help me? You're licensed in Florida. I said, but let me tell you how I can help you. So I explained to him that I could kind of take care of them with white glove service as a concierge service. Basically, I find a realtor in that area that I can, which I generally know somebody personally in these affluent areas around the country, and I can basically make a referral to that realtor, but make sure that their clients are handled with white glove service from start to finish. And he loved the idea. He brought me on as a real estate advisor for his firm, and I started pitching this particular position that I created to other family offices around the country. And it was a massive need because these family offices are very private. They have their own staff, they have their own attorney, they have their own, CPA. It's very private the way that they do things. So I was just shocked to find out that none of them had a global real estate advisor or anybody that really was a real estate professional on staff to be able to help their clients with some of their biggest assets. So that's kind of how I got started. And then I started getting involved with private equity firms, land infrastructure, um, all sorts of developers, and that sort of thing. So it's been a lot of fun and a lot of learning, which is great. I love to learn. Mhm. I'm sorry, you cut out for just a second, Rhonda. Well, there have been times where, everything's been mostly good. There have been times where, I just don't know the answer to something and I have to just say, let me find that out for you. That's pretty typical with anybody that's, pivoting and learning something new. I haven't thankfully had really anything that has been, um, bad, so to speak. I definitely have a full plate of a lot of projects. I would say the biggest thing for me is I'm very quick to get back to people, and I always complete the task at hand, and getting some people that are very very busy to respond, sometimes even in a week's time, is a little bit frustrating. They're very busy and they're very wealthy, so once a week if you can get a hold of them. Some of these people are a little hard to get a hold of, so it takes a lot longer than I am used to get things done. But I would guess, I would say that that's probably the most frustrating part for me, would be just people's time constraints with being so busy. Yeah, so some of these deals that I do, I'm mostly a connector. So that's what I do, is I know, I learn about the project, I spend time researching the project. So you mentioned storage units. It's funny, I just had my first storage unit facility come across my desk. And so I'm pitching that to investors and we're raising money for that. And I just have to learn about it. I have to ask questions, I have to research it, I have to pay attention to what's being done. Um, if there's a Zoom call on the project, I attend. It doesn't matter, what time of day it is. So you really have to invest in yourself and your business first to be able to provide good service to the people that are working with you. You don't want to say, I don't know, over and over again to people. Of course, there's always going to be those questions that you may not know the answer to, or somebody asks a funny question that maybe you don't have in the marketing deck, or maybe you haven't asked that question yourself. So, and that's okay, but you really want to research what you're selling and what you're looking for. You'll find, just like in any business, you can kind of anticipate the questions people are going to ask. So I try to make sure that I have all those tools in my toolbox ahead of time. So I'm prepared when people are either looking to purchase or looking to unload a property. And Vermont. Mhm. Yeah, thank you so much for that. Yeah, I wear a lot of hats. TV and media has always been an interest of mine. I was around at a young age. My father was master control at a local news station in Connecticut when I was little, and I job shadowed at a news station in Hartford, Connecticut, in high school as well. So I kind of always wanted to be a news anchor. That didn't really pan out. I got into real estate really young, but um, I had the opportunity to I've done certain things like modeling and things like that. So I've been on TV with designers and I've modeled for print and advertising and that sort of thing. So I got involved in a TV show a few years back called Places and Spaces with a wonderful host and executive producer who had actually transitioned from being a news anchor to um, owning her own show and multiple shows. And I had a lot of fun, got to produce some TV shows, gain sponsorships, really get involved with the entire production, which was a lot of fun. It's real estate based and just kind of shows you the area of the different places that they visit. And in addition to that, I started hosting a South Florida real estate show called American Dream Selling South Florida. That is basically my listing. So if your home is listed with me or you want your home marketed on TV in South Florida, I can get you on with that. And I just showcase the property, the area, fun things to do. I'll interview a business. And I also work on a fun project called Dining Divas and Dining Divas Destinations. Show originated in South Florida. It has grown to a national TV show airing on the Travel Channel. And that's been so much fun to film. We've traveled to many wonderful destinations and done so many fun things. We filmed in St. Lucia, Palm Springs, California, Salt Lake City, and Park City, Utah. Most recently, where I had the pleasure of meeting you, Rhonda, at the Ohika Castle in Long Island for the celebrity event with the Gatsby event and the golf tournament, which was so much fun to be a part of. So we've had some really great experiences. It's more of a foodie lifestyle show where we showcase travel, food, fun things to do, and we get so many great experiences while working together to produce a really great program. Mhm. Well, I think a lot of people want instant gratification. They don't want to wait for a program to air at, 8 p.m. at night. They want streaming is, where everything is gone, I feel for sure. Um, and instant and mobile. They want to be able to flip through their phone maybe while they're eating lunch at work and watch, half of an episode of something or whatever it may be. I also find that a lot of the short clips are really helpful for people in business. If you're not doing video in your business and some sort of media content, you're missing the boat because that is where the world is going. Even if you're recording videos on your own and telling people a little bit about your business and making some reels, making some stories. If you're not getting in front of people where they can really connect with you and resonate with some of the things that you're doing or things that you're saying, that's such an important piece that so many people and any business really are missing right now. So I think there's a lot of people that are afraid of video, are afraid of media, and not quite sure how to start. And there's always, there's stepping stones to getting out there in front of people. And I think it's really important to utilize the resources in TV media and even in radio. If you can get it, if you can get on a radio show and you can bring some value to the listener, the viewer, I think that's so important and such a great piece that you can take for content for your business. Mhm. That's a great question. And I know it's a little controversial with some people. I am still a big Facebooker. Facebook, I've gotten so much business from, and LinkedIn. Those are my two favorite. I do use Instagram. I don't find it as worthwhile business wise. Definitely for me, business wise, LinkedIn is really kind of surpassing Facebook for me right now, just with the type of space that I'm operating in. You're not going to find high net worth individuals scrolling Facebook Reels. You're just not. It just depends what you're looking for. I did not get into TikTok. I did try. I really did. Um, I have a really hard time. It doesn't resonate with me. The funky videos with the different voices, and it's just not me. I don't like doing anything that doesn't resonate with me or doesn't align with my values. And I've always just really always kind of lived in like the professional corporate space. And I don't like things that don't look professional. So that's just my feeling. I know that there are some really great TikTokers out there that have gotten a ton of views and have become sensations. And that's awesome. I definitely give them a lot of credit because there are some things on there that just it would feel so silly to me. So when it's not comfortable, people don't do it. And when it's not comfortable, the viewer can see that. So I think it's important to do what feels good to you and what resonates with you. Because if you're forcing something, the viewer can see it. It's not going to feel authentic, and people can tell when you're not being authentic. So I would say Facebook has gotten me through the years a ton of business, especially locally, because you can really build on a local level your presence, especially in real estate. I know it's a little different, like if you're a dentist or a doctor. I mean, people don't go posting how many patients they saw that day. So it really depends on the business. But provide a piece of value. How can you help others solve their problem? What's their problem? How can you help them? I mean, you have the credit authority. What is the problem that you solve? Those are things that you can post on social media that can help others. And when they see value and they see that you can help them, they want to understand how they can work with you. Mhm. Mhm. Well, I think be purposeful about your time and come up with your objective. What is it that you want to accomplish? Are you just trying to be on TV because you think it's cool? I mean, that's so many people contact us. And Christine Curran, who's the executive producer for Dining Divas, she can attest to the fact that she gets hundreds of messages of people. I want to be on your show. How do I be on your show? What they don't understand is it's an extreme amount of work. It's a lot of work. And what you see on TV is the result of months and months of preparation, phone calls, meetings, proposals, lots of no's, waiting for the yeses, trying to put all of the um, sponsors and businesses that we're showcasing on our show, because that's what we do. We showcase other people's businesses and experiences, and putting it into a structure that makes sense. So it's a lot of work. Find what is your why. It always goes back to what is your why do you want to do this? Do you just want to see your name in lights? Do you have the time for it? Because it is extremely time consuming, and it is a full-time job for many of us on the show. We have very busy careers, and so it's really kind of um, putting the puzzle pieces together to make time for it all. And I think it's important to figure out, what is your delivery and what are you trying to get across to people? Why do you want to get into it in the first place? I love. Oh boy. And thank you so much for that introduction because I would say the same about you, Rhonda. I mean, there's so much I can learn from you, and I just loved meeting you. You are a force to be reckoned with. So thank you for that. As far as strengths and weaknesses, it's hard. It's hard to be a woman in business, and we wear all these hats, right? I mean, we're wives, we're mothers, we're all different things. And while I'm not a mom, many of my friends are, and I watch them balance, their families with their high powered careers. And for myself, I balance a lot of careers. That's kind of in place of me having a family. And I love to travel, and I love to have new experiences. So I think, some of the things that I would say I struggle with first and foremost, and I know this is systems to keep everything that I do. I know that I'm not using the latest technology when it comes to um, streamlining my business. I know I'm doing things antiquated. And maybe it's because I am, all about personal touch and personal connection. I don't do the automated text messages. There's a lot of time wasting, I think, that goes on in some of these lack of just knowledge for what kind of tools are out there to be able to kind of speed up the process with things. But I would say that I'm really good at organization and keeping everything straight. And I'm really big on customer service, like getting back to people immediately. I don't leave any of those little red circles on my phone open at all. It drives me nuts. So I make sure everybody gets responded to and that people feel like they're important because nobody else cares how busy you are. They don't care how many clients you have. They want to feel like they're the number one person if they're hiring you for a job or they're um, perhaps going to be connecting you with somebody that could utilize your services. Mhm. Well, I'm very good under pressure. I I am very organized, and I don't like to be late for anything. So I try to get things done and prioritize. I mean, it's really important to prioritize what's important and what's not important. I don't get involved in all the fluff. I know there's people that will go out on lunch meetings every week and meetings in person, and me. I don't do that. It's an extreme waste of time for me. I just don't have time for it. So I will do Zooms, and I'll meet people once in a while, but I don't have, you take a lunch every single day of the week and then you're gone for 4 hours. You've killed your whole day. I mean, to get back into that groove when you get back to your home office or to your desk or whatever it may be, I think it's really prioritizing and being very purposeful about your time. Your time is so important, and to kind of, put things aside that aren't making you money. I always look at things, if it's not making me happy or making me money, I don't have time for it. And, that's just kind of how I, sort of live. I mean, I love to help people. And in the end though, we're looking to, that makes me happy. So it meets one of those goals, even if it's not making me money. So I think, just being purposeful and prioritizing your time and sticking to a schedule. I mean, if it's not in your calendar, it doesn't exist. So putting things in your calendar and really sticking to that structure is so important. Mhm. Many times. Yeah, many times. I think it's happened to me in real estate, of course, where it could be like it happened to me recently. Actually, I thought this gentleman was sole owner of his property. I He told me, he's like, it's going to be really hard for somebody to beat you, and then he listed with a male realtor that I know, and I think it was just like an old boys club thing. I have definitely more experience than them. I know I nailed the listing presentation. I was really shocked actually to not get it. But where I'm finding it more now than ever is in the private equity space. And I find that it's very male dominated. I went to a seminar not too long ago, and there was probably 150 people there. There was 4 women in the room. And I happened to attend that with my fiance, and people were coming up to me asking who I was. Like, am I just the wife of some important person that they invited? Like, they were looking at me like, whose wife are you? And when I started talking, they were all really impressed. And I kind of felt like they were looking at me as I was, just the guest of the husband that was there. And I find that's a very male dominated space, and it's a little hard to break into with some companies. Some of them are, you go online and you research their websites, it's all men, and it's like they either want to wrap their arms around you and bring you in, or they don't really want to work with you. And I'm finding that in that space for sure, more so than ever now. Oh, well, I appreciate that. I definitely think my looks have helped me, and in the past, I'm just going to be, brutally honest. I definitely think I have used my real estate photo on all of my marketing, all of my signage for many years. Um, I can tell you, I can't go into the grocery store in my hometown without. I can go in bummy as all with a hat on and gym clothes and kind of unrecognizable, and people will stop me. It's, oh, you're that realtor. So it's recognizable. It's, my photo does stand out. I did that on purpose. Um, and I have had, a little bit of unwelcomed uh, attention. But for the most part, I think because I keep it so professional, and I'm 5'9", I'm not a small person. I think that people just don't really mess with me when it comes to like hitting on me or things like that. I keep it very, very professional, where I don't, sometimes people ask you, offer you a drink when you go for a listing appointment. I never say yes. I always keep it completely professional. And so I think that helps. But yeah, I mean, I think that um, you got to be careful, though. There's a fine line. I mean, I definitely see some beautiful women wearing very provocative clothing. And if, you know, the wife doesn't like you because of what you're wearing, or they think your husband thinks you're too attractive, they're not going to list their house with you. So I think there's that fine line. If you are a pretty woman, and you are, then you can, you cover up and you kind of make it, make yourself, you stand out in other ways. You don't want certain things kind of working against you in the end. So, um, yeah, I definitely think it's helped, for the most part. I don't think it's hurt, just simply because of how I carry myself. So, oh, thank you so much, Rhonda. I really appreciate it. It's been fun.